Hi there, I'm Sydney Brown with Memoir Mastery, and today we're going to talk about the differences and the similarities between a memoir, an autobiography, and an autofiction. Now, they all fall into the broad category of an autobiographical writing, but they each have very distinct characteristics and purposes. So we're going to go into that pretty quickly today. Look for other videos that will go deeper into them, but I just want to get you the high level differences and understanding. Number one, the autobiography. Now, this is the thing that you grew up with and you thought if it was nonfiction that it must be an autobiography. You probably learned the difference between biography and autobiography, which biography is someone writing about someone and autobiography is you writing about yourself. So in that, that's what we thought there was. Later in generations, we come to realize, oh gosh, there's other formats as well. So an autobiography is the one that it's a comprehensive account of a person's life. It is written by that individual themselves, and it covers the full spectrum from potentially as early as birth through death. And it will, usually in chronological order, it will talk about, their entire lifetime. We'll talk about who would be best suited for an autobiography in just a little bit. But for now, just know that it is written by the primary character themselves, and it is true. So it is nonfiction written by the author is the main character, the main person that we're talking about. Now, a memoir is a little bit different in that the memoir it focuses on a specific aspect or events or a slice of their life is what a lot of us like to say, because in that we're not talking about the person's whole life. We're talking about a journey that they went through, a portion of time. And in that, it's not necessary for the memoir to cover their whole life, and it doesn't have to be in chronological order. It can be, if they are LGBT and they realize at a younger age and, skip 20 years. And then we talk about when they finally come out, something like that. That doesn't need to be in chronological order and include all the other stuff that doesn't matter in the story. So in a memoir, that really is the opportunity to tell a story about the person rather than tell the person's entire life. Memoirs are usually a little juicier. They are written as a book, but 100% claimed to be nonfiction, accurate, and truthful. So the whole purpose of that is literally usually to help someone get through or to understand that aspect of that person's life. And then the number 3 that we're going to talk about right now is autofiction. Now, some people call it other things. I actually tend to call it fictionalized reality. And by saying that, I probably just gave away what autofiction is. It's a relatively new genre that blends elements of autobiography with fiction being fake. So, not made up. So autofiction authors use real life experiences, but then they tell them like a fiction story. They may, you make sure that there is a plot, and then it gets more complex, and then it has a struggle, and then hopefully a happy ending. In doing it that way, it makes it a little more entertaining, a little easier for the reader to read and to digest it. But in doing this, it really does open the whole world of readers up to learning about a person's life and their experiences, because a lot of times people will want to read fiction and not nonfiction. So someone may shy away from a memoir because they may think that it might be boring, because, who cares about this or who cares about that? But the story should be told. So if you can find a way to make it a little more exciting, even if it means blurring some of the lines and throwing some fiction in there, that's absolutely fine in autofiction. So, it's worth noting that in these categories, there is usually some sort of overlap and intersect. And between all of them, it really does, it's an adventure. And you do want to know and be very clear if you're writing these, be very clear about what it is. If you are writing an autofiction, don't claim that it's a memoir. If you're writing a memoir, make sure that it's all accurate. So in some of the stories that I've read, there might be a little page in the front that says, this is a memoir that is 100% true, except all the stuff I made up. So when you say that, you can make it fun and jokingly, but then the reader will know, okay, this is actually autofiction, and maybe this scene that was so exciting, maybe it's fiction, maybe it's nonfiction, you don't know. But that's kind of part of the fun. And in a way, it's also what could make the author feel a little bit safer in sharing some of their story that might be a little grittier, a little darker, and maybe something that they wouldn't normally be comfortable sharing. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's move on to the next section. I'm excited to talk about this more.